What is going on? It's your boy Ty Too Fast. Today we have a problem, but we're gonna resolve the problem and try to give you guys some information as well. So thank you guys for checking out this video. I haven't done a lot of videos like this. Do-it-yourself video on a oil pan that I stripped out the bolt on, unfortunately. We got the parts in today. We have our new oil pan, and then we have the gasket that we're gonna be replacing on the bike. All right guys, so we have the pan. This is what it's gonna look like. This is the bolt, the drain plug that I stripped, and then we have to replace the gasket on it as well. To do this, we have to do a full exhaust removal, and some of these fairings are a pain in the let me tell you that. But I already took apart the left side of the bike, so I wanted to make sure that I got the video footage of the right side of the bike, and then we're gonna do the exhaust removal. So if you guys are looking to change out your own exhaust, you guys could also use this video for that as well. If you're doing your own service on your bike and you strip it out, hopefully this video will help you guys out. So there's a couple things you're gonna need. Some Allen keys. I recommend getting a socket set. These picks are very helpful if you guys don't have any of these. You can go pick them up at your local AutoZone. I think Harbor Freight might have some. You can definitely get these. These will help with some of those push pins. The push pins inside are definitely frustrating inside of this wheel base right here. Now, with that being said, what we're gonna do next is take out this fairing, which will open us up to removing the fairing on the bottom right here, this glossy fairing, and then that will give us access to removing the exhaust. Obviously, you're gonna have to do this on both sides of the bike, but like I said earlier, the left side of the bike is already done. So you're gonna start with the 4mm, and that will remove these 3 bolts, and then we have one right here as well. Also, that push pin that I mentioned to you guys that's on the inside, you'll have to remove that as well. All right, so we have these bolts that are going to come out. Now, these have little plastic pieces you want to make sure you don't lose because that'll prevent you from scratching up your fairings. We're gonna move over here. This one's gonna be a little tricky to get to. Keep all your screws together. You do have these little rubber grommets right here. Make sure you don't lose those. You also have one more bolt underneath right here, so we're gonna take this one off. So that's a total of 5 bolts to get this side fairing off. All right, so once you have all those bolts out, you have some plastic clips that are gonna be up here, and these just pop out. Be careful while you're doing it. Keep your thumb on the top fairing. Those just pop out like that. So once you have that done, you also have 2 Phillips black screws that are gonna be connected to your under fairing. There's also going to be these 2 push pins on the bottom side that you have to push out as well. I already took them out because I had done the left side of the bike, but hopefully you guys can see that. There's those 2 push pin slots right there that'll connect the 1, 2, 3 plastic fairings to get underneath this bike. And then once you get that off, you have to take off this shiny piece right here, and then we will get that off with these 2 Phillips. And then there's a bolt right here that we need to remove as well. All right, so that is the piece for those plastic push pins. Those 2 push pins are gonna be, and this goes right in the center, and that's what joins everything together. All right, so we're gonna continue to remove this piece here, and that's gonna be a 4mm Allen as well. Just wanted to make sure you guys are seeing what has to be done on this. I was looking on YouTube and didn't see very many videos of this being done for the R7. I think I saw some videos of like the MT-07, which is a similar motor. Hopefully this video will come in handy for you guys. All right, so we got off all the fairings. For the next step, after the plastics are removed, we have to get this exhaust off to get to the oil pan, unfortunately. What we're gonna do is we have our O2 sensor right here. This is a 17mm. We're gonna loosen that up. There's a little clip inside right here where you have your O2 sensor wire coming. You guys probably can't see that too well due to the lighting, I apologize, but there's a plastic clip right here. So just follow your O2 sensor cable down, and you can just kind of bend this back a little bit. So just like that, you'll bend it back. That'll free up your O2 sensor cable. And then we can get this out, and that'll be easier for us to take this out and allow us to twist it a little bit. I think there's another bracket right here. We might have to take that out as well. So we'll bend that one as well. Yes, so that'll make it a lot easier for us to get this O2 sensor out. So once you break it free, it should be pretty easy to take off. Be careful with your wiring. It does look like there's a washer on your O2 sensor, so try not to lose your washer. I don't think it's gonna fall off, but that is the O2 sensor that we need to take out of the exhaust. Now we can go ahead and undo the header from the motor. Stay tuned. Before I do the header bolts, we are going to start with this 12mm bolt that's going to be holding up this cat. Now this is kind of tricky. You need to use an extension to get up in here. It's right crunched in between your brake lever. If you have a swivel head, maybe this extension will do just fine, but a swivel head might help. So let's go ahead and get this taken off for you guys. So it does break away fairly easy. So that is your 12mm bolt. So we have another one of those 12mm bolts that we need to get off on the left side of the bike. I might have to use a different extension for this. I think I'm definitely gonna have to use a swivel head to get up in here. You might have to move your clutch lever just a little bit. All right, so I got a swivel head and a deep socket. Like I said, there's those two 12mm bolts that'll be tucked up under here. You'll see it, there's kind of like a rubber grommet around it where those go into. You loosen up both of those on both sides. That will loosen this up. Now the only thing that we have to do is take out those 4 12mm bolts that'll be up here. So let me go ahead and get started on those for you guys. So you'll have your 2 12mm exhaust bolts. I'm going to use a paint marker to indicate which bolts go to this. So I know this is going to be hard for you guys to see, but this is right under the radiator. All right, there's number 3. So we're going to try to break free this exhaust. Now be careful with these. You got these, obviously you need to keep track of, because when we reinstall this, the other one looked like it stayed on, which would be awesome if this one did too. But no worries, just make sure you line these back up correctly when you put the header back on. So that is our exhaust. So if you guys are also looking to change out your exhaust, this is how you would do it. And this thing is heavy, you guys. This is definitely heavy. Need to throw this thing away. The bike would sound a million times better. All right, so we got that big stock exhaust out of the way. Now, I know the lighting is bad, you guys, but if you guys are doing this, you should most likely know what's going on here. Hopefully, a little bit. So we have, I think it's 11 screws up in here, and this is gonna be a 5mm Allen head. So let's go ahead and start taking this off for you guys. There is that little bracket right here that is fastened to these 2 screws on the oil pan. So just keep that in mind, and that needs to go back where you got it from. Instead of taking one at a time, is I'm gonna break all these free. These are not on there very tight. I recommend you guys use a torque wrench to put these back on to make sure you don't strip out anything. So I just got the oil pan swiped out. So I'll show you guys the old one and the whole reason as to why we did this. We have this oil pan right here and the threads were stripped. So be very careful when you guys are doing your first service on the bike. If you do it yourself or any oil changes, make sure you're using a good torque wrench that you know you can trust, and make sure it's accurate, because we definitely stripped the hell out of this one. So this is the oil pan with the gasket, the old one. We got the new one on there already, so We just need to torque everything to specs, put the exhaust back on there, and then this R7 will be good to go.